Feng Mao is one of the best split pushers that we have with the mobility that he has. He's going to be able to push those lanes, start small skirmishes with them, and then they can pass that gold right over to the Murdoch with that long arm of the law as well.
100%.
Long arm of the law is such an underrated passive. I just really got to throw that out there. That passive is so good.
Long arm of the law, if I'm not mistaken, is his ultimate ability as well.
It is his ultimate. That's correct.
Now, his passive is huge because he's able to secure kills from a further distance. That's another good thing about having Drongo on your team as well. With his last hitting capabilities, he doesn't always have to immediately secure that kill. They are definitely something that is not to be joked with, because Drongo doesn't have to finish you off. Similar to Kallari. Kallari and Drongo both possess capabilities of absolutely doing an insane amount of damage without even still being in the fight.
Speaking of Kallari, actually a little crazy that we haven't seen. I actually would have expected to see a Kallari jungle early in the tournament, just because of how strong she is early, especially in a game with team communications, and having all of that escape opportunity and pick chance just really helps get the early snowball going. Looks like we got like two beefy brawlers coming out right now, and unfortunately for Team Tab, it doesn't look like they have too much dedicated CC to stopping Gideon ult, so that might swing fights in a negative way for them.
You know, speaking of stopping the Gideon ult, I think it is quite an obvious answer to say, yes, they're going to build True Silver Ring. So not only having that CC is important, but being able to burst down that shield from True Silver is going to be differential when it comes to winning or losing a fight based on that Gideon ult. You know, that card, it gives him a huge shield based on his health, stopping all CC until that shield's gone, and then when that shield is gone, it then explodes, dealing massive damage to an area around him after his ult is already sucking you back into him.
Another thing I love to see on the Gideon pick, I've seen a lot of people going Razorback on him as well, so that if you do try to pop that True Silver Bracelet shield, you get punished with a little bit of reflected damage as well.
Interesting. I haven't seen anybody delve into something like that in that big brain of an IQ play, but if I see a Razorback, I'll eat a shoe. All right.
On a Gideon? Well,
yeah.
I hope you have a knife and a fork, because I guarantee you're going to see it today. I guarantee it.
I'll pull out ye old phone. You guys can watch me some shoelaces like spaghetti.
That is the Lance Chesticles guarantee. You will see a Razorback Gideon today.
He said you're going to eat your words. 100%. It is just such
I'm
a powerful
going to be eating
card.
a shoe, apparently.
A lot of people are moving towards that tank Gideon build, actually. It's very interesting.
I have been seeing a lot of mage players kind of building more tanky these days because their kits already have enough damage and not particular sustainability in the traditional sense, but that it's very consistent in the way it plays itself.
Oh, from the looks of it here, they have already started their game, guys. Let's head down to the differential chat real quick and see what's going on. Love the communication we have going on here.
Absolutely. All right.
Alrighty, yep, they are just now getting into their game, and from the looks of it,
Lance is muted. I don't know if you can unmute him, because he's not muted for me. There we go.
I'm unmuted because you two are casting this game. Or I'm muted because you two are casting the first game.
Yes, sir.
Understood.
Alright, chat. So, luckily, we did get here just in time. Oh, yes, sorry about that. Bear with us here, chat. We are trying our best.
Let's get gold buff.
All right, are you able to see my Discord? Is that what I'm showing you right now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All righty, let's get into it. Looks like we got all 5 here. Starting off, we're already 8 minutes into the game. Unfortunately, we are a little bit late to this, but that's okay. Looks like Drongo's going to come in. Already 0-1. Drongo seems to be the only one that has died this game. They secured the gold buff, setting up wards. Oh, he's actually clearing wards as the carry. That is smart of him to do.
I'm having an issue seeing your stream, unfortunately.
On Discord?
On Discord, buddy.
Okay, let's see. Bear with us here, chat.
Okay, I also think you have one of their team players unmuted as well.
I am good now. Go ahead.
Alrighty.
Let's get that screen up. Let's go!
Let's get it!
Next time, chat.
Alrighty.
Immediate, we will have our manager make sure that we are in communications. All right. Got some good stuff going on in the mid lane right now. The stream is unfortunately frozen.
It is frozen for you?
I think we should
and pick back up though. It's just spacing out a little bit. I might have to do
rampage.
the other thing and just kind of follow you around. But that's okay. It's 0-1, 9 minutes and 40 seconds of the game. Gotta fight, busting out in the right lane right here.
Using her ult.
Absolutely huge ult.
Oh, they secure the kill on Rampage.
Flip. All right. This is going to be a 1-for-1 pick real quick. I really like how quick the team kind of just shifted over there on an absolute dime. No breath wasted in that motion. Fang Mao kind of overextending right here. My man is playing with dangerous fire. Gonna get out of there, though.
Looks like the Gadget's going to take her time and come back here. We are going to tune in over to the dual lane yet again. Looks like they got some farming action going on here. Try to stay within XP range. Chat, I'm going to get the audio for the game up to you here in just a second. I promise. We have some technical difficulties going on. I promise by the second game, we will have much better
Okay, they're pushing hard. Okay, nice.
Oh, he's going to get the pull right there. Going to get him right onto the roof. Going to get ulted immediately. Just a quick disclaimer, chat. While he's kind of messing with all of the settings going on, I get blocked out from the view on what's going on. Like he said, we will have this squared away by the second game. This is an early run, and without spectator mode, it has been quite the challenge. But we really wanted to get something up and out here so people can check out what's going on. Unfortunate death right there for Drongo. The Stinky Drongo is 0-2, and I call that man Stinky because of his gas grenade. Not that he's actually a bad character. He's just got that stink, you know? Big AoE silence. So, as they're kind of checking back into lane right here, we got gold buff coming up. Looks like there's some action going on in the mid lane. Looks like the Gadget and the Grux are collapsing on the Fang Mao and Rampage. Richter and Murdoch coming back into the lane, and as we were talking about before, absolutely such great synergy between the Richter and Murdoch. All he has to do is land the pull, and the death is basically guaranteed. As you can see, Drongo still has both of his blinks. Oh, we're going to see a big blink dash coming in. Recrunch online with the uppercut. Gets the blink. Is he going to be able to pick it up? He doesn't secure it.
Oh, he's got a fake coming on him in the back now. He's going to try his best to survive. Steal ults to save him. Grux coming in with the clutch. We see Rampage ulting it as well. Oh my god, what an insane fight.
I'm like stuck.
Unfortunately, the Drongo didn't get the pickup right there, but wow. How quick that turned around to a 4v4 in the bot lane. It's almost like you just see that every single game. It's almost like there's always a party in the duo lane. Oh, big crack rock coming out. Rampage, my local dealer, slinging rocks, looking for a little bit of a dive, shoving. Nothing else going to come out of that. Wow. Absolutely explosive.
They're getting Fang
Tooth. The scoreboard right now, 2-5. I don't believe any Fang Tooths are online at all. Nope. We are still sitting at 0-0, and that's something that Cook and I were talking about last night, is a lot of teams try to force early Fang Tooths, and death timers are so short. And by the time you win your fight, you get a kill or two. There's only about 10-12 seconds, and the jump pad eliminates 1/4 of your run. So by the time you're even on Fangtooth, you're damaged from the last fight. You're not strong yet, so it's taking forever to clear. The other team just kind of swings in and collapses on you. And it's that's the one thing I've really noticed. And I am incorrect now that I have full vision. Wow, they have 2 Fangtooths already.
Oh, wow. 13 minutes in to have 2 Fangtooths, that's got to be the biggest advantage to go on. Crunch looked like he's going to put in some work here, going in on their jungle, uses it active, doesn't look like it's going to be enough to finish off the kill, as he does have his blink to get away safely.
Just giving my stream a second to catch up here real quick. It's specifically, I don't know what it is, but it's specifically when you go to Gadget, the stream freezes.
Alrighty, I'll try my best to kind of
not fighting him. I'm
only do that occasionally.
I'm just...
Yeah, it's frozen for me again. Kind of kicking in and out. It's probably because of how much bandwidth is going all over the place right now.
100%. You know, I'm doing my absolute best here to make sure that this is as good as it can be here. We are going to have some technical difficulties through the first bit, but we are going to get through it together, chat.
I do have a pretty good view of this over here. We do have the Crunch just clearing up his 3 camps, as it looks to be a little bit of an exchange over in the off lane, but it doesn't look like Crunch is going to join. Just going to hit that B, see if he can pick up some items, get a little bit stronger, working towards that time warp, it looks like, so that he's firing abilities off, getting that empowered ability as often as he can. Just giving Mycology a little bit of time to get those bufferings in so that his stream is nice and fresh so he can see it and give you guys this wonderful commentary. We do look like we've got the Crunch moving towards this mid lane. He's got the silhouette of the Fang Mao as they're moving in onto the gadget. He is just going to walk over towards that mini prime pit, do a little dance with that Fang Mao, but I'm not sure that he wants to take this fight right now. The gadget is there to back him up in case they do get a little saucy here. Oh, and more members of the enemy team are coming in here. That looks like they are bringing the whole gang over to look towards this mini prime to secure that objective, get it on one of the members before the 20-minute mark starts. Crunch is just going to have to back up to his tier 1 tower here as he doesn't want no piece of all 4 of those members. Gadget's trying to secure that river buff. Oh, and the Grux is stalking. He's up on that ledge waiting to see if those members are going to move into the mid lane. It does look like something's going to pop off over to the right side of the mid lane here. We got a bunch of members of it. The Grux misses his E as he's trying to engage. He uses that crest, those Ice Scraper Talons. Gets a little bit faster, but now he's going to come up towards the top ropes and see if they want to start a fight here. But neither one of these teams really wants to give up too much pressure. Too many of those death timers as this game starts to get a little bit later and later. They really start to stack up, and the penalties for deaths really do add up.
You know, it's crazy to see the difference between a competitive match where truly good players who have a good understanding of the game are going up against each other versus seeing how things happen during a public match setting. You know, these players, they're being so careful and so decisive when it comes to what moves they want to make, what fights they want to take, and exactly where they position themselves. You're not seeing them overextend or try to feed it all or over-engage. They are very tactile with what they are doing. They know how the game works, and they know where everyone is. Okay, he is loud. That's okay. We have a lot of technical difficulties going on, chat, but I appreciate each and every one of you sticking around.
I got a powerful voice, chat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he does.
Powerful voice, powerful man. All right. Looks like my technical difficulties have stepped to the side. I can see everything that's going on again, and it is looking kind of good. Grux looking for the play. Gideon gonna flash away. Not gonna jump through there. Smart on him. A little bit of an ice trail. The man's got some cold feet. Looking for the green buff over here. Definitely gonna be an easy pick for him. We've been seeing a lot of the Fang Mao in the mid lane this game. Very interesting. I wonder why they did the swap off like that. Looks like Crunch in the mid lane coming up for a behind the tower dive. Gonna definitely get on that Fang Mao. Ooh, and some stinky action in the bot lane. Crunch on that rampage right now. Enemy Gideon ulting, getting peeled apart right now. Great ult for him. And we talked about that earlier. Their team doesn't really have a comp that stops that Gideon CC. Great ult by the Fang Mao. Absolutely going to destroy that Gideon. Wow.
You know, it's crazy to see here. They collapse so well. They're so well coordinated. It's just something you don't get to see very often.
No, even when you play in the 5v5 stacks over in the predecessor Discord, the level of coordination isn't always there. You can tell these guys play together all the time. They have tons of experience. They know each other's rhythms. And rhythm is something I don't think it's talked about enough in team play. And it seems my technical difficulties have faded. And I am a happy, happy boy. All right, they're forcing this Fangtooth right now. Team differential up 2. Gonna get the third one. And I believe with the timer, that is almost on cooldown. Crunch over here cleaning up this camp. This one kind of takes a little long to do, even into the later portion of the game. And he's just going to be kind of roaming on this mid lane right now. River buff coming up in about 30 seconds. Looking for that dash. Going to get out of there. Let's flip on over to the duo lane and see what kind of pressure we got going on. Oh, good sweep in action over there. Looks like Drongo's waiting for some gold for an item. Probably looking for that 650 buy. Yeah, 600.
Crossbow, getting that extra 15% crit chance. That's going to be huge on Drongo. Hitting harder is definitely something he needs to be doing.
Absolutely. Well, with his passive proccing the bleed and extra power based on crit chance, maximized with the rad rounds. There's a giant fight going on the left side by the mini prime. All right, Gadget trying to get out of there. Clearly doesn't have a warp gate. Grux just kind of peel out. Man, Team Tab is getting a little bit picked apart right now. This game was really close 7 minutes ago. They're down by 5 kills and 3 objectives right now. That steal pick maybe not working out entirely for them. Like I said, the counter pick that kind of followed after your first pick is huge. And that's why it's not always, you don't always have to lock in the first pick. Sometimes it's better to formulate your strategy based around what the enemy team's first pick was. And it seems to be working out really good for Differential. Grux kind of just dancing around these camps, not looking to do anything. Enemy team picking up. Going back over to his lane. Fang Mao going to start beating on that tower. Got Gideon over there as well. Ooh, they're going to lose 2 towers in a 30-second period. Very unfortunate. Good ward placement by the Grux. Just looking for that wave clear. Cookie, how you feeling about everything that's going on right now? How like, give me your input.
So far, what I've seen from these teams is that they are very willing to go at it. And, you know, playing smart can only get you so far. Playing risky gets you the game and makes you win so much more. As you can see, they're going for objectives. And, you know, this game it's not Call of Duty. You know, you can't just walk around, kill everybody, and then win the game. Now, while that might happen in some public scenarios, the fact of the matter is, in a competitive setting, this game is 100% a strategy-based game. And you have to be able to secure those objectives. Those objectives are so big. Like right now, we have a team who, as you can see, is ahead in kills. And I can't help but think that has to be because of that 6% boost in physical power, magical power, armor, everything like that. Not to mention their river buffs, their jungle buffs are all lasting longer. You know, so when you think about it, you can only go so far by getting more kills. The team that gets the better objectives is going to win the longer the game plays out.
I need to correct myself really quick. We are viewing Team Differential right now. I've had the teams flip-flopped a little bit. Sorry about that with the technical difficulties. We got a fight breaking out in the duo lane. Differential, I don't know if they want to fight right now. They're down 2 kills. Looks like they're going to lose 2 more players. Nope. They have somehow swung this around. 1 kill picked up, 2 kills picked up on the board. Good little comeback for them. They're going to probably get this Richter, feed it to the Drongo, and that's going to be big. I will say this, even though I am a Murdoch player, Drongo does scale better. Absolutely. Murdoch has that early game bowling potential, but Drongo will pick up by the end of that game. That Rad Round's crit passive, man. Whoo! Stacks on stacks on stacks.
Hey, Lance, if you wouldn't mind hopping in for me while I do a little bit of technical problem solving right here.
I do not mind at all, Cook. I can definitely help you out here. It does look like we've got a big black hole coming up from the Gideon. We got to fight under that tier 2 tower. The Grux is able to just get... Oh, no. The Rampage is able to secure him.
Team Differential just kind of sticking around a little bit too long right there. They should have taken that little small win. We were talking about this earlier, right? Right, Lance? You get that small win. Instead of overextending your lead, take that small win. As the game goes on, death timers will become longer, and you will have more opportunities to secure objectives. It's okay to take your quick win and reset.
Absolutely. Or even potentially move over to push that tier 1 tower instead of the tier 2 that they were working for. They do only have 1 tower down, and taking down that mid tier 1 really does open the map up for them to be able to potentially make some moves and find the picks they're going to need to get back into this game down 3 Fang Teeth.
Sauerkraus 92 saying that he wants the 4-cram review and not zoomed in. I am going to have to disagree with that from a commentator spectating point. It's very good for us to be able to see the full screen that's on board, and having 4 different cameras at the same time makes it hard to pick up on the things that need to be spoken about at that time. And it'll be a better experience for you guys as well in the long run. All right, so we got Fang Mao coming on up right now, looking for a pick. The Warp Gate going out. Looks like he's overextending here. Crunch wants to punch. Is he coming in for it? He's going to look for that.
See, oh, he misses the uppercut.
That's all right. That's the thing about Fang Mao, man. With that little blink he's so slippery. As long as that's on cooldown, he's pretty safe to get out of most situations.
I am going to come out and say it now. I have seen everybody's memes. I have seen everybody's opinions. Fang Mao is not a super minion. He is definitely a bona fide champion in this game. It just took a couple of weeks for people to learn how to use him, but he is definitely expected to be seen in this when played right on these top.
That's just one of those things, you know, guys. If you know how to build a hero and you know what best benefits him, there is no wrong hero to play.
Absolutely not. The meta will always be meta. There always will be champions that are good, but that doesn't mean that just because something's bad or doesn't have as high as a win rate as maybe Orange Boy Steel, 54% win rate, things like that, doesn't mean that they're not playable and that they're not good. Fang Mao seems to be a little bit of a higher skill cap champion, and you really got to be on point. All right, so we got a really big fight breaking out here in the duo lane. Steel was looking for something. but the enemy team, Tab, going to just kind of back away right there and not get picked. Smart for them with this 5-kill deficit. And 4 Fangtooths. When did we miss a Fangtooth? Wow.
They're just taking them so quick at this point with those bonuses that they already have. They're going to stack another one up, and they're really going to start snowballing this game with the objectives that they've collected.
Maybe they got to change their team name to On Cooldown, because that's all they do, is they pull up things on cooldown.
They have definitely been efficient. You can tell how well practiced this team has been. So here's Crunch trying to get that shield buff, get a little bit beefier to see if we are going to make any sort of moves over towards this Orb Prime fight. With them having 4 Fangtooths, it's only a matter of time until they try to take that bigger objective here.
Yeah, just kind of got a little bit of passivity going on right now. Just kind of doing their thing, farming up a little bit. Looks like he's going to give that blue buff away now. Got to take it for himself. Got a ward that just popped up over here. Not sure if Crunch saw that. Yeah, he did. He's ready to pick it up. And that was a cheeky little ward. I almost didn't catch that myself.
So I want to ask Mycology, we do see that there is a pretty big advantage over on Team Press Tab right now. How is Differential going to be able to find themselves back into this match?
I think the big thing right now for Team Differential is they need to not find themselves in a position to allow Gideon to get his ults, because a lot of the big swings that we've seen right now is their lack of availability to CC the Gideon. They don't have a Rampage Rock, they don't have a Narbash stun. They just kind of don't have that projectile that we're looking for. So I think the best thing that they could do right now is turtle up a little bit. I'd like to see more warding pressure over on the Fangtooth. Seems a lot of these are being snuck by, even by us, because from our camera point of view, we're not seeing anything happen because we're viewing from Differential right now, if that does make sense. So I'd like to see a little bit more turtling, a little bit more vision control, and looking for more picks on the Gideon or taking smaller scale skirmishes rather than full-blown team fights.
I think you're absolutely right about that, and I think that highlights one of the really strong things about Gideon once he gets ahead. There's safety in numbers if you need to move around the map with your teammates, but that means Gideon's going to get more than one person in his ult, which is never great.
Oh, looks like
it looks like
right now.
Ooh, he's going to
blink
blink over. He's going to get the knock-up onto the Rampage. That Prime is doing a bunch of damage. We're going to see if anybody on Differential can come help the Crunch out here, but it looks like he is going to fall down.
Absolutely murdered by that Orb Prime. That really busted them up on the damage. I'm going to say that Crunch right there was a little overzealous, pulled that trigger a little bit too soon. His team was still quite a little bit away. They were still kind of coming out of the mid lane gate, and he got a little scared that was low and that he wanted to probably go for a smite steal, so he jumped in.
Absolutely, and that is going to be absolutely devastating for Team Differential to deal with here. Up against 4 Fangtooths, up against an Orb Prime, down to only their tier 2 turrets, and in some lanes even only their inhibitors. This is going to be a massive opportunity for Press Tab to push this advantage and potentially end this game or put them to a point where they cannot come back from.
I believe we're definitely going to see an inhib go down right here. Yeah, look how fast they're burning that. They got 3 players down. Death timers are longer. Every fight is now more and more punishing. I don't believe they're going to have the capabilities to end the game. Looks like they're going to swing over to that second inhib. Crunch using his dash to get in. Not sure what he's looking for on that Rampage. All right, they're going to get a little bit of the wave clear going. This is where it gets hard, right? This is that you made one mistake. You jumped into the pit a little bit too soon. I understand you were fearful that it was low and you were going for the smite steal, but just that one circumstance took it from them having a minor lead to looking like they're going to be able to close out this game in the next 5 minutes.
Absolutely. I mean, and just one of the things, like we were saying before, this is a strategy-based game, and you do have some resources. You can only concede so many of your objectives before you have to take one of those risky plays. I'm sure that was semi-panic blink into that or pit prime, but they had to try to fight for it. They give that up. They're in a worse spot than they're in now, I'm sure.
I'm going to need you to pick up for me a little bit, buddy. I'm experiencing technical difficulties again.
I can absolutely do that. As we are in this grid view, it's going to give us a good highlight of all of the different people as they're moving around the map. Ooh, the guy just going to blink to get away, but once again, Feng Mao, he's got mobility. He's going to chase you down if you are trying to get away from him. And our Feng Mao is able to flash over and get that. Ooh, we got another black hole coming out by Press Tab over here from their mid laner on the Gideon. Able to collect some up, and we've got a whole lot of people in spectator mode on Team Differential right now.
All right, I am back. I'm seeing 3 Drongos. That's against the rules. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so
no
they're going to be
matches.
Yeah, no mirror matches, guys. Mess
They're
up.
gonna what they can to defend the core here, but it is looking like they're going to come down. The Steel tries to jump off the top ropes, but the core is going to fall and give game one over to Press Tab.
Press Tab, really, really strong, looking like a well-oiled orange machine, which is ironic because they're not playing Steel, but that was absolutely an outstanding display by them. They did play very well. That was good. I think the really big thing right now that we're going to have to see is we're going to see how are they going to re-strategize on them. Are they maybe not going to do first pick since they get to choose on this round 2? Maybe they'll do a little bit more counterplay. And I know I am repeating myself here, but we saw it 3 different times there in the 20 minutes that the Gideon rotation and all with no way to stop it was just kind of really hard for them there. And I'm going to go ahead and reopen this Zoom link meeting when we go back in for the, not the coin toss, but the champ select. So everybody who's checking out the stream right now, please give us a shout out. Let us know, how did you feel about round 1 minus the technical difficulties? We got 122 people in stream right now. Thank you all so much for showing up. You're all beautiful people. Let us know, how do you think that played out? What do you think is going to happen next, and what do you want to see better in the future? Thank you all for your feedback in the chat. Really appreciate it. Love you too, Huey. Thank you very much for showing up and showing love. The no mirror rule, Ahmed, do completely agree with that. I don't agree. I agree with you in the sense that we don't need to be banning characters right now. The roster's already too small as it is. Maybe when we get season 1 or 2 in, I think as we get closer to maybe like 40, 50 players on the roster, that it could be talked about. But right now, with such a small pool to choose from, I don't see any reason to do that. The no mirror rule is absolutely the best thing that's going on right now. I think it's an absolutely beautiful rule, and shout outs to Agora for making that.
All right, so Press Tab is the winner of the first match. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Press Tab is the winner of the first match.
Alrighty, so what were you guys' thoughts on that game? What do you think? What do you think Differential could have done better in order to? Oh, that's not right. Actually, sorry guys, it is a best of 3. That is correct.
Yes, it is best.
What do you guys
absolutely. We're moving to
think
game
that
2.
They need to work on in order to make this comeback here, because they are now down by 1.
We talked about it a little bit before, so I'll give a little bit of a spark notes so I don't overhuff myself. But there wasn't a lot of wards on the Fangtooth, and I know that they had a lot of pressure on them. But earlier in the game, around like Fangtooth 2 and 3, we saw that they were kind of even. It was like 4 to 6, things like that. They were all tier 1s up still. We were like 15, 16 minutes into the game. I would have liked to have seen more posture checking going on around the Fangtooth. It kind of seems like Team Tab just really kind of caught on that they were not really checking anything that was going on that side of the map objectively, and it kind of gave them the pressure that they needed to continue that little snowball as it kind of went down the hill and continued to generate force. And the other key thing would be the not having a pick to stop the Gideon from his combos and doing what he does best, and that's jumping above the team and pressing R.
Absolutely. If that Gideon got any of that y-axis differential in that, the only person they had that could even get close to knocking him out of it was the Steel with committing his ult, which is not great for the team fight on team differential there.
Absolutely. All right. So as we're kind of locking in everything, yeah, I see a lot of P-Tab love going on in the chat right now. Everybody very excited for them. And then honestly, with the display that they just had on that round 1, let's see if they can keep up that same level of energy and love and communication going into the second round here. I'd hate, we all hate losing, right? Nobody likes losing, but there are losers here, and I'd hate to send Team Differential home packing at a 0-2 on round 1 of the Agora series. That would be unfortunate.
Everybody loves a good comeback story. I'm excited to see if they can pull it off.
Speaking of comeback stories, have you guys been keeping up with Kim Kardashian? Anyways, moving on. We have a lot of things going on in this tournament, such as round 2 beginning not too far from now. It looks like they are in the middle of picking their heroes, and we will be able to get in there in no time. I am simply waiting for the okay, and we will be on our way.
All right, so while we're just kind of hanging out and we're looking at the Agora ReAwakening tournament bracket up right now, it seems, do we have the other teams playing against each other right now? in the same context, or are
we could see about tuning into the Nemesis versus Vape Nation, or actually let's go into our highest seed Team TOS. It looks like they are in the middle of a game right now. We can head on over there.
Yeah, let's head on over to Team TOS until the round one kind of gets their stuff together, and we'll be waiting for the manager to let us know it's time to hop back over.
Hey, tell you. Hey, sorry. Yes.
Cook, let me get that stream, buddy. I want to see this action.
Let me
Yeah, so
in.
from the looks of it, they are not in the game right now. Actually, their game must have ended.
All
We're
right,
going to
no
try
worries
our
about that.
best and get into the next very best game. It looks like Press Tab and Differential going back at it in round 2. We covered Differential this first round. Let's go ahead and hop into Press Tab. It looks like only 2 of them are streaming, but that is okay. We're going to go over there, see what's going on, and get into this next game. And remember, chat is a best of 3.
Here we go with the picks.
All right, Telio.
Have we confirmed whether or not they've made their picks yet? Do we know what champions we're going to be on for this game too? This potentially knockout scenario for Press Tab here?
Boys, I'm going to need y'all to take over while I handle some back-end stuff here. So whatever you guys got to say, let it rip.
All right. Well, I see somebody just said in the chat that this should be best out of 1 till finals, to be honest, and I disagree with that, mainly because this is a single elimination tournament. The best 2 out of 3 is a good format, because if it's best out of 1, you're not giving players of this level of caliber opportunity to adapt to the situation at hand. And you see a lot of runs in other games and other series where a player will be down 2 games in a best 3 out of 5 and then run 3 games and take it all immediately. Players that are on this level, that play this well, that think in depth about all the situations that are going on around them, have that kind of flexible and adaptability that most of the player base doesn't have. Let's just be honest with each other, right? So giving them the opportunity to at least have a 2 out of 3, correct their mistakes, discuss where their deficits were and what the other team did better, makes for wonderful gameplay and wonderful viewership experience.
That is also going to separate the team that is the best team from the team that just has the best individual players on it as well.
I
Knowing those
totally
strategies
agree with that.
and that massive knowledge of the game for knowing how to change their pickups potentially in teams or in games 2 or 3 can really shift the tide for it. Whereas if you just play a best of 1 series, it's kind of a coin flip when you get players that are as skilled as we have in this tournament today.
Yeah, and the thing with the coin flip is we've all been there. Maybe you've played against someone before on the game, and then you run into them again, and you know you've slapped them 3 or 4 times, but just one thing happens, and it just snowballs the whole game out of control all of a sudden. You're not going to ever get that chance to get that run back or think about that. It's just kind of, that's the nature of the game. And no, we're kind of beating a dead horse, but that's the really big thing, is just really giving the players an opportunity to understand what's going on and adapt and overcome. And if we see Differential pull it back with a 2-0 sweep, we know that's exactly because of what we're talking about right now.
Absolutely. Another great thing about that as well is it also provides a lot more content and a lot more for you, the viewers, to be able to see and watch of these high-skilled players so that you're able to potentially pick up some of these mechanics, pick up some of these strategies, and just see more high-level gameplay.
Absolutely. So when we're coming, we should be coming up on this soon. I know the players are probably ready for some more action. The no mirror match thing is probably my favorite rule that's going on in this tournament right now. I would have to say that I would really, really love to see a Sparrow pick, because I feel like I don't see that character enough on ADC.
I also love that Sparrow pick idea. I also think it's a great pick into Murdoch with having the longer auto attack range than he does when his passive isn't up.
Yeah, one of the big things that people don't think about is kind of the whole poke comp that you can get going on with Sparrow. Narbash hits his club stun, then she just hits poke. As long as you start with the right mouse button, she's really strong early. And that's something I see a lot of Sparrow players do, is they take Rain of Arrows first. And I don't think that's very strong. It is incredibly weak overall, especially at level 1. And when you hit someone with that, they're just going to walk out and not even take the full iteration of damage. So it's better to have your quick shot, which is the same mana cost as your rain of arrows. Generally, I think it's a 10 mana swing, if that. And just kind of get that secure damage in. I think that's really where she thrives, with poke damage early into the game until she gets that Eviscerator and her ultimate online.
Absolutely, but I do see the point of hitting that AoE slow on the rain of arrows that she has, so that whoever that support is has an easier time hitting that big CC ability on them as well. I think it is just a matter of knowing who you're playing with and knowing what your strategy is and what you're going to go with. But that's one of the things that makes this genre of game, and particularly Predecessor, beautiful. There is no right answer. This game is new, people are developing strategies, and it's going to be really interesting to see what these top tier players choose to do.
I would love to see, yeah, and that's the big thing is we didn't see it a lot the last game. I know that we're not necessarily, you could disagree with me and feel free to for conversation's sake. I don't think we're necessarily in a carry meta, but obviously carries are really strong. And I would really like to see what it looks like when the other 3 players on the team, 3 out of the 5 players on the team are covering down for the ADC, letting them do their job, letting them just be that bursty glass cannon, and you exist to let them dish out as much damage as physically possible in a short period of time.
Absolutely. I think that would be a wonderful strategy for one of these teams to adapt, and I think that it's a winning formula for sure. The carries really can take these games over once they get to that like 30-35 minute mark, to the point that they are 1 or 2 tapping anybody that hasn't built a bunch of tank items.
I know that Team Tab and that Team Tab had a stronger pick, like they had a stronger scaling team, right, as the game went on. But early on in the last game, we saw the duo lane getting tons of picks, getting proper pulls. They killed Drongo, I think, 3 times in the first 10 minutes. So not like they were down at all. The Richter was landing his stuns. I would have liked to have seen more done and more playing around the duo lane with the level of lead that they had at that moment. The Murdoch was up 2 kills, I believe. The Richter got 1 of them. But when you're up 3 kills in the duo lane, that's impressive. Junglers just got to sit over there, kind of keep someone off the map, and kind of give... I think that would have given them a little bit more opportunity for those Fangtooths that were so detrimental in that gameplay.
I completely agree with you. They were really just pressing every spot in that map that they could. It looked like pretty much every single one of their laners won. That Feng Mao pretty much started drifting over into the mid lane immediately. We will be interesting to see if they do decide to even potentially bring their offlaner all of the way over and play through that carry role like you were talking about. I definitely see that as a winning strategy.
Absolutely.
But when your Feng Mao's 5-1, like the, I believe that
it was more than that. That man was.
I know.
Ooh. Are we
he definitely ended 7-1. He is definitely creeping into that MVP conversation already today.
Looks like Cook is back. You back, buddy?
Look.
We are live in the game. We need to get this back on board. Sorry, guys, we are 5 minutes into the game. We need to be let known when it is going on so we can get back in there and commentate. The beginning stages are incredibly important to talk about. I know you guys can't see right now, so I'm going to start talking about it as it's going on. I apologize. We got Gideon roaming over. Just imagine it is 1927. You're listening to your favorite baseball casters, and it's a radio.
There you go, boys. I got my stream up. I completely forgot when you switch channels, it does not put your stream up. That is my bad.
Yeah, it's all good, buddy. Let's get on in here. Let's start talking about this. We are down on some kills right now and some information. It seems that we got... Catch me up to speed, because we couldn't hear which team is which right now. We're viewing Team Tab, right? So this is... So they have they have Gideon, Rampage, Drongo, Feng Mao, and Steel again? Running the exact same team comp as last game, minus the crunch?
Oh, and something that is interesting as well. This is an off-lane Gideon and a mid-lane Feng Mao.
Gideon was off-lane in the last lane, believe it or not. And
was he? I must have missed that.
Yeah, it didn't work out. Yeah, it didn't work out for them before. I think it's a wise man once said, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
We will have to. But it does look like, let me see here, if we can get one of these screens to be all of on the main screen here so we can potentially check out the kill score here, get just a quick rundown of who these teams are on. It looks like on press tab here we do have Rampage, Gideon, Drongo, Steel, and the Feng Mao.
Fangmao getting roamed on by the Fae. Is he going to be able to get away? He doesn't have his blink on cooldown for about 7 seconds. He's trying to dodge. All right, the Fae going to pull right away. That's a little bit of a greedy back right there, but we'll see if it works out for him.
And it is the same dual lane over for Team Differential. They've got Murdoch and Richter over there. They've got the Chimera in the jungle here, actually, it looks like. As well as
so
the
we've
Fae
only
mid
seen
and
a
Grux.
one champ diff on each team. Actually, Team Differential.
I believe that is 2.
Yeah, they did not have Fae last time either.
Or did they have Chimera in the last game?
No, they did not have Chimera.
Yeah, they were running Crunch, that's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
So we are seeing some different swings right there. All right, going for the all-in with the Fangmao. He's gonna get out. Oh, the minion damage. Gonna hit him up. Rampage is chasing it down. Gonna secure that quick 1-for-1 in the mid lane. I believe the score is sitting at 2-3 right now. A little hard to see on that, but that's all right.
I'm seeing 1-2
Hey, what game are you watching right now?
with Differential on top.
Psychology?
I am watching the Drongo.
Yeah.
Watch,
We're watching yours.
watch my stream, brother.
You're showing the Drongo.
Yes, okay, just making sure, because...
Oh, my bad. I was looking at the wrong stream. I was commentating a different portion of the gameplay. My apologies. Sorry. Technical difficulties. All right.
It does look like we've got a Fangtooth dance going up here. They're trying to get some positioning, get those wards, and try to keep them from taking that first Fangtooth. 8 minutes and 10 seconds is a little early for either of these teams to be pressing that. It gives up a lot of pace. So we will see if they are just dancing with each other. It does look like they're going to move over to this gold buff and just try to secure this up quick.
8 minutes into the game, no Fangtooths on the board quite yet. Looking at 1-3. Team Tab down 2 kills. Team Tab down 2 kills right now. I like the lane swap this time. Cool to get another perspective from the other team, and what great quality to view this game. This is the smoothest.
Absolutely.
All right.
We do have a great production team here. We just got to iron out all of those kinks, but it is about to be the top quality stream once we get there. It looks like we do have some action going on around that Fang pit in the river. We are starting to get a team fight here. They're starting to group up together. We're going to see if this Fangmao wants to roam over there, if he's just going to soak up this XP he's got in the mid lane. Rampage is going to have to jump out, but he's going to get pulled in by the Grux.
Oh, they're diving him right there. Chimera for free. He's got some good body blocks. He's not going to be able to clean that. He's going to get picked.
Oh, it doesn't quite get the execute off with his ult for the resets there. And now we do have a 1-5 advantage for Team Differential, showing why we do series, as they are starting to pull back this and make this potentially going into a game 3 with the early advantage they have.
This is an entirely different game than we saw last time. This is a big swing. We saw a lot of even gameplay, followed by a difference in the snowball later into the mid to late game. But Team Differential is now coming strong. Exactly what you're talking about. This is why we have series. This is why we give players chances to adapt and overcome. All right, Gideon having a little bit of a hard time missing both of those stuns right there. Looks like he's trying to set himself up for a freeze, but might be poking this wave down just a little too much. I'm not in the game. I don't know what his thought process is. We'll see. Faye missing from the lane right now, possibly going over to Prime.
Something I do just want to highlight for Team Differential, they definitely adapted to take a more team fight friendly composition. That Chimera with his ultimate can stop the Gideon ult. Faye can stop it with the fly trap. Grux has got a lot of ways to stop it. They were prepared for that Gideon pick in this. I personally believe that Faye's got the best team fighting ult in the game with that fly trap. You put that in the right spot, everybody's going to where they're supposed to be, and your team can just absolutely clean them up.
For now, I am kind of excited for the nerf next patch. It was a little insane getting hit by that, blinking out. Then, ooh, Big Rock, your local dealer slinging. Ooh, that was a lot of resources.
They might be chasing her into the tower, though. They are going to let her go, it seems. Ooh, actually,
Gideon's going to get picked.
Gideon's going to commit.
Oh,
the Fangmao's going to commit. Is he going to get him?
Let's go. Yeah.
And Epps is able to clean him up here on the Fangmao, but the long arm of the law comes through and gets Gideon. You can run, but you cannot hide from that Murdoch there.
Murdoch putting on his glass and going, don't worry, I'm a cop. All right, really good pickup for him. Unfortunately, still going to be 2-6 for Team Tab. That long arm shot was good, though. We can see if we can get some more picks on that and kind of help him scale into the game. But I believe Drongo's in an extremely good position right now. Wonderful 3-lane freeze right there. Would have liked to have seen the melee minions over the range, mainly being that the range have less overall health but deal more damage, and they attack from farther away. It doesn't help you freeze as long. Having the melee minions definitely helps keep it there a little bit longer. Not sure how well people have the art of freezing mastered at this point, but seems like they're doing their Kanye best.
It does look like Team Differential was also able to get that first Fangtooth. I'm not sure that I noticed when that had gone down, but they are going to get that length added to the buffs that they are going to pick up here.
We did miss a Fangtooth happen as well when they are being extra sneaky with these.
Ooh, the Grux hits the pool and the ult goes off, but that Fang Mao is so safe with that dash on his right mouse button. He can just get away from pretty much anything.
Yeah,
once he gets to this point in the game.
Bad. This isn't too bad for them. 2-6 does look like a big deficit right now, but as long as they play slow and pick their fights correctly, it looks like the enemy is looking for a gank. Not going to happen. Cheeky little 3-man coming out on the Fang Mao. He's just going to blink out of there and chill. He's been playing extra safe. I feel like because he was an MVP last game, they're going to be trying to shut him down a little bit more in the early game.
Absolutely. They may have dismissed that Fang Mao pick in the first game, but they are not going to make that mistake in this one. As they are pressuring onto the Gideon, it looks like that Chimera jumps towards them. They are pretty deep here, though, in between their towers even. Let's see if Fang Mao's able to come over here.
Yo,
the Black Hole to get a little bit of damage down. Is he going to start to get those resets on the ult? Oh, he gets the first one. He's got 12 seconds to recast it. Is he going to be able to survive that Grux?
He's going to get it. Oh, he's
not quite enough damage, but the steel comes in to protect him. Oh, and he sneaks around and picks the Fang Mao out.
Team Differential looking differential this time. Absolutely playing way different than the first game. Really liking the amount of aggression that I'm seeing here as we step into the mid game.
Absolutely. They are playing with confidence. They do not want to go out 0-2 like this. They want their day to last very long. They want to be in the spotlight. They want everyone to know that they are real players and they came here to play Predecessor today.
All right, Gideon possibly going to be looking for this blue right here. No, going to leave it for his jungler. I guess it would take him a little too long to clear. Seems like the Gideon offlane can possibly swap into the mid, but so is Fang Mao coming up. Ah, see, this is what I was talking about, but just from the opposite spectrum. Just getting that ward out real quick for the Fangtooth. I believe we got about 40-50 seconds on that. Let's see if the other team picks it up on cooldown again.
Absolutely. Another thing that Differential has done very good in this game is they have rotated who they think the mid laner and off laner should be to match those lanes. They've been bringing the Grux over to face that Fang Mao. They've been pushing Faye over into the off lane to face the Gideon. They are doing a good job of moving their characters around the map and putting people where they need to be to win this game.
That's going to be really big for the Gideon. He's the offlaner, and he just picked up both river buffs at the exact same time and got a Fang award.
Ooh, and one's pink, too.
Yeah, he's got no, like, motion wasted right here. You'd think he'd be missing tons of XP and time, but no, he's absolutely doing what he needs to do right now. All right, the Fangtooth is coming up. It looks like we're getting some posture checks going on over in the mid lane as they move over. Drongo coming in from behind. Gideon with an almost really big ult. Fang Mao trying to get out of there. Tons of CC. Absolute chaos.
Flytrap comes in. Oh, Gideon gets silenced, but he's able to get out, and the Grux pursues him and is able to take him down. So now we have a 2-for-2 in this fight right now. 3 members up on each team. The Rock comes out, but he misses the Fae. He's backing up. He's going to move back into the mid lane. It looks like they're potentially going to just move away from this fight before too much happens, even though the Fang Mao actually is still being chased down over in that off lane. He's able to blink away. Is he going to get out? No. Fae's going to pick that one up as well. Becoming quite the strong fairy over there.
Oh, man. All right, so now they're down 6 kills. We just kind of keep seeing this deficit creep a little bit more each time. They could be on Fangtooth right now. Team Tab is getting over there.
They were able to get a tower. They got tier 1 over in the dual lane, or in the off lane, it looks like.
All right,
Minions OP.
Yep, and they are in there, and this is what I'm talking about. They're still weak from the last fight. I know Gideon doesn't have ult. They're going to pick it up anyway.
Yeah, no black hole means it's going to be hard for them to engage this team fight for sure. We'll see what they want to do. They decide to just let it go. Probably a wise choice there. They had already lost that second Fangtooth. They don't need to give them any more gold that they don't need to.
I hate to say it, but we're kind of seeing that same level of mistake that we saw before with the Prime play. Last time, the Crunch just got a little too scared, went all in, and kind of died for it immediately because he wanted to have that opportunity to get the Smite steal. And while those moments are always hype, the difference between this game and other MOBAs is you can't see Fangtooth health just because it's warded. So you really have to pick and choose. Is it worth it at that time? Is it worth it at that exact moment to really go in and steal for that because they just lost another death?
Absolutely. Starting to stack that differential, and they didn't get the Fangtooth either. They didn't get that hunt off in order to be able to get it. And I do like that point that you were making about not being able to see those objectives health. I've heard a lot of people complaining about it. Personally, I think it is great.
I like it. I like it. I'm like 50-50 on it. You know, I think it's great because it really forces you to commit to what's going on at that time. But at the same time, and that just comes from my gaming history as a jungler, that it makes it very difficult for me to make those choices. Like, is this worth it for me to give my life to go in there and go for that 50-50 smite? Because when you're doing it, it's not a 50-50 right now. You're literally blind checking it.
Absolutely.
But one of the things I'd really like to talk about here is that the Drongo, it does not seem to be dying very often. And what we were talking about before with that death, right? Here's what players don't understand too much. And when you're dead, it's not just that you gave the enemy team gold. You're losing uptime, which means you're losing chances at farm, chances at XP, chances for picks. It goes so much deeper than just losing the 300 gold for your death. It puts you so far behind, and as the game goes on, being off the map for 30 seconds, well, that's 30 seconds of CC, creep farm, anything that you could be doing to get ahead. And every single one of those deaths adds up, and then all of a sudden, you've been dead for 7 minutes out of this 28-minute game. Think about it like that.
Absolutely, and those death timers do really get long the later these games go. And that lack of map pressure you can have when you are in spectator mode as a player does not feel great. They're able to just walk up wherever they want while you are dead and take anything from you. Ooh, we do have the bull rush in off the top ropes, but he does look like he misses the ult. The Rock is going to follow in and catch this Richter. He's going to use the crest, but he's still going to fall down, feeding that kill over to the Drongo, trying to help him scale into that late game where he can just do crazy amounts of damage with those rad rounds and his whole kit as it is. I agree with what you said earlier. I do also think that Drongo does scale better than Murdoch. We will have to see what that looks like if this gets into the late game and we get into a duel between the two of them.
I think Murdoch excels in solo queue more so than like Drongo Sparrow, mainly because of how strong his early game harassment is and the tools that he has. He gives himself the most opportunity to pick up kills, but overall, like pound for pound, level 18 full build, Drongo is absolutely a stronger character.
Absolutely. I also do want to highlight his itemization. He did go that anti-healing in the Drongo, so he's only got the Lightning Hawk in, and it looks like he is going towards that Tainted Rounds now, which is a wonderful pick into the Grux, into the Chimera. I'm sure the Murdoch's going to have some lifesteal as well. That's going to make a big difference for his team. Love to see smart itemization by our players.
The gold buff, literally every time.
We've seen at least 3 on screen too, and we're not even primarily watching them. Very, very good lane control over here by the dual lane of Press Tab here.
No, it's duo land. It's okay, but it's duo land.
Oh, for sure.
So 7-13 still kind of sitting at the same kill deficit. Not too much going on right now. Seems like Team Differential and Team Tab decided to slow their roll a little bit. The best thing they can do for themselves is slow roll this. Don't force any more fights. Look for only picks or small scale skirmishes and let that Drongo get farmed. Let him get huge. He'll be such a big team player in the later game, it won't even be funny. This Chimera and Flux, they have, actually talking about aggression, here we go, looking for the Rock. Looks like they might be looking for something a bit here. Team Differential has quite an aggressive team now that I'm looking at it, between the Chimera, the Richter, the Grux, the Fae. Like, that is so much get over here.
Yes, absolutely. They are definitely looking to be fighting. They picked a team fight comp. They want to rumble. They want to try to go down bloody if they are going to go down at the very least. And it looks like we're about to get another one that's going to pop off.
All right, he's looking for the fight, getting a little bit of poke out there. That's a lot of resources for a river buff. Interesting. Oh, the Fang Tooth is coming up. Both teams are posture checking right now. I don't think it's in favor of Team Tab to kind of pick a fight. The Grux is overextended right now.
Let's see if they can rotate to help him.
Wow, what a
this into a 4v5 with the Grux on the other side of the map now. He's going to have to take a second before he can rejoin this fight. Let's see if they take that advantage.
They're already on it. They're already on it.
Oh, big Richter. Big pull. This Gideon's got almost nowhere he can go. He's boxed into the trap. Oh, and off the top rope. Steel's going to get him. He hit the Fae. Not a lot of follow-up for him there. It looks like the Rampage is ulting, trying to be healthy, trying to get out of this fight. But it doesn't look like it's a whole lot. Team
really, yeah. I wish we had instant replay. I really do. The level of utility Richter just put out right there. The whole team was coming. The whole team face checked him. What did he do? Ulted them. Then he silenced at least 3 of them. Then he pulled the Gideon immediately. He just held that 3 to 5 seconds that they needed so that they couldn't get in there and even contest that opportunity, regardless of the 4v5.
That's big Rick energy for sure.
That's going in my back pocket.
Yeah, you can keep that one. I'm definitely not the creator of that. So we're going to see how they're going to be able to recover from this. They are down 3 Fang Tooths now, just like they found themselves in this position last game. They are now on the opposite side of this coin. We will have to see what they try to do to turtle and get themselves back into this game. Just trying to scale up. We do have 2 items online for this Gideon. He didn't even go into the True Silver Bracelet, it looks like this game, going straight into the Golem's Gift, into the Dream Binder for those big ults. He knows they have a lot of CC on that opponent's team, and it's not going to make a big difference for him to build True Silver here.
As this deficit kind of keeps getting larger and larger, I would really like to see more defensive wards. And, like, as we can see right now, there's only 2 wards on the map for Team Tab, and that was the second one as I'm saying it. Everybody's got one. I'm pretty sure the jungler has an Oracle. Is that what it's called? Oracle?
The
sweeper?
Sentry.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure he has a sweeper, but I'm just not seeing as much like vision pressure as I would like. When you're down in a deficit like this, you need defensive wards down. That's not just so you can get a pick. That's so you can not find yourself in a position that you're giving away something.
And if you're wondering what a defensive ward is, it is not having 3 wards in your blue side jungle and 4 men on the red side jungle like they were just doing there for a little bit. Little questionable posturing here, but it does look like they are starting to get grouped back up into the spot where they have that vision control and they know that they are safe. Sticking together, doing what they can to get themselves back into this match, down 10 kills and 3 fangs now.
Yeah. Oh, see, there it is. That's a good... The defensive ward was there that time, and he still face-checked it anyway. You got to look at that mini-map. Get a little tunnel vision right there. That could have been unfortunate. The Fang player is incredibly powerful, though, honestly. We saw that Grux kind of come in on him, and he's got a big lead, and that Fang kind of chipped him up real quick and just kind of backed away.
Ooh, it looks like they are getting close to group to 4 here. They are right around this Orb Prime.
A little skirmish breaking out over by the Prime ramp.
Able to hit the rock. Let's look for that big black hole coming out from the Gideon.
This is the opportunity.
This is a chance. There's the big black hole. He catches 2.
That's a lot of damage. Can we get more?
The Chimera gets up and gets it.
By the Chimera.
Nice rock by the Rampage there to get him off. And the Gideon steps out of the pool by the Grux. Hits a real good stasis. And here come the resets on the Fang Mao if he can get out, but Grux is going to be able to come in and clean both of them up over there, it looks like.
That looks so strong for them in the beginning. Like that, like honestly, I'm going to say it right now, Tab didn't do anything particularly wrong in that situation. That's the kill score deficit right now.
Yep.
It's really playing out. That was a wonderful play. If that was an even 10-10 game, they probably would have come out on top right there.
Perfectly executed. You really can't look for you can't really ask for a better engage, a better start to that fight with hitting that rock, getting the steel deep into their backline, and then hitting that Gideon ult the way that they did. They are doing everything they can to get back in here.
Guys, when you're checking out that stream, if you see a great moment, if you see anything that's awesome, please clip that. Put it in the chat, because this way we generate hype, we generate things for Cook's channel and the Agora tournament series. I'm not looking for clout chase myself, but I want this game to do well, and if you're tuning in today, that means you do too. So go ahead and hit that clip button, support the community, and help build and generate hype around this as we move out of Early Access Season 1.
Absolutely. So this Gideon is going to be
pushing into this mid lane up near the river, trying to get that minions into the tier 1 over here on Team Differential's side. Once they get that tier 1 mid knockdown, it really opens the map up, like I've said a couple of times today. He's going to get some some vision down in that river so that he does not just face check and jump off that ledge like I like to do when I play mid lane.
We're looking at the Fangtooth is going to be coming up here soon, very soon again. And that's going to be the 4th one. They really can't give this up. I'm going to say it, if they let this 4th Fang go, that's going to be looking like a real rough comeback.
Ooh, I think they might be trying to trade it. I am a huge believer that as long as you press this advantage that you get with Orb, it's okay to make this trade 4th for Orb Prime. Ooh, yeah, it looks like they're going to come over and contest the Orb Prime.
Now.
With it
it's
being
kind of taking them a long time to get this done, and they're eating a lot of damage from this Prime right now.
They don't have a lot of damage in order to be able to take this thing down fast. Drongo is showing up to the fight now.
Grux is looking for the pick on the Drongo, probably. Trying to posture check. He just doesn't want him to get it for free. He's doing exactly what he needs to. They're pulling out of this too soon. I don't know about that because the enemy team got...
of tempo. to give up with that fourth Fang coming in on the enemy team.
I disagree with that. I know that he's pushing into the mid lane right now, but you are already halfway done.
Absolutely.
You gotta finish it. Done. You know that they got the Fang Tooth already. You might as well push back for the Prime.
Absolutely. You got to finish that. And I think that Grux just did a wonderful job of scaring all of the members of Press Tab there to walk away. They definitely thought that Grux was not alone and that the enemy team was going to be coming down, which once again highlights the importance of those wards that we were talking about, so you know where these enemies are at while you're behind them.
Growing up, my father used to always tell me, if you're going to do something, whole ass it.
Whole asset, absolutely.
Whole asset, and that's a definition. That is like a definition situation of like that. You whole ass that situation.
You're already at that disadvantage. That thing or Prime may have been able to potentially put you back into this game.
Yeah, even if they kind of cracked, they don't even have that much damage going on the inhib. That 20% damage bonus from the Prime, the buffed minions, everything kind of might have given them just that little loot they needed.
I won a game down 5 Fang Tooths the other day because of taking over Prime while they took their 5th Fang. I will take that trade if I have to. It is better than giving Fang for nothing, is what I'm getting at.
Grux is playing so smart right now. I never see this guy overcommit to anything in this game, at least. Every single time, he's just posture checking. He's letting people know, I'm here. Don't mess with me. I'm ready to scrap if you need me to, but I'm also going to leave so you don't get a pick on me.
Absolutely. Really playing that champion very safely. Grux is kind of all gas, no brakes, but this guy is at least playing him in neutral right now. Being able to get out when he is, not being too over-aggressive with that champion.
I think neutral is something that doesn't get discussed enough in MOBAs as compared to like fighting games. Neutral still exists in all facets of competitive gaming, and I would say you are correct. He is neutral right now, like literally. He is so on top of it. Look, he's
as I said, he blinks in, hits the ult. Nothing neutral about that. That's all gas.
Commentator's curse.
Let's gonna see if he's gonna be able to get the 2v1. He did get the steal ult out. He's been brought a lot of attention over to him here. We've got a 4v3. It looks like the Fey ult's gonna come out.
They're gonna they gotta peel out. This fight's done.
This fight's definitely done. They gotta move away.
Nobody died. That's a win for them right now. Nobody
died.
Man, time and time again, you could see your point getting proven even more. This Grux is never overstaying in a fight.
No, he's playing. This man is the definition of neutral gameplay. And
they're moving up the Prime. Sorry to interrupt you there, Mycology, but we got an Prime fight going on.
Absolutely, as they move into the Prime. Oh my God!
Screen?
Oh, they got the steal! They got the steal!
They got the steal. Has Gideon gotten his ult off yet? I see he's in the trap. He's gonna try to get up. Oh, but
they just need to peel out of here.
Just comes off.
Okay,
absolutely.
That I don't know what happened because we didn't have complete camera, but all I know is that Gideon does not have smite and he stole it. So we might have seen a boof smite come out from Team Differential. Let's see if they can use this opportunity to really bring it back. This is the big play that they're looking for.
This is their chance. If they're going to do it, they're going to have to do it while having this buff and having their minions be stronger. They are down that champion on Gideon, so it is a 4v5 right now, but they are really going to have to get some lane pressure. See if they can get a pick or maybe win some sort of fight while the enemy is pushing up onto their inhibitor in the mid lane here. Rock goes a little wide. They're just going to clear these minions out. Play it safe. Get a little bit of time to breathe right now, it looks like.
Honestly, I really like how Differential is kind of posting up regardless of the Orb Prime buff that's on the map right now. I think it's very smart of them to posture check their lead. Like, they do still have an entirely pick-oriented team between the Richter, between the Chimera, the Grux, the Fae. Like, there's tons of opportunity to take some of these Prime player buffs off the table.
Another 200 IQ thing that they are doing. They realize that they've got this Orb Prime, so Press Tab is in about as good of a spot as they have been all game.
Look at that.
4 Fang Tooths last the rest of the game. This Orb Prime is only going to last another minute or two before that's back off and Team Differential's got their huge advantage again.
I don't know necessarily if I would waste this Prime buff on posture checking the Fang Tooth. They've only got about another minute and a half left on it. We do need...
Absolutely.
If one thing they made it could do, I think I'd like to see some kind of like little buff icon, like above like the level and experience tab that shows how much time you have left on your buff.
Something like that would be really good. You'll be able to see that if you push left control.
Okay.
I have been told that before, but I have not tested it. I know you can see how long you have on river buffs like that.
Yep, they're not overextending right now. The Grux is looking for something. This could be the pick. This could be the pick.
Are they going to be able to get him out? He didn't even get his ult off, but they are committing
a lot of resources. That is a lot of resources.
The flat trap comes in and gets them good, but this Gideon is still feeling healthy. This Rampage is trying to get out with that passive health regen from his ult and being in the jungle. We'll see if he's able to make the escape, but the Murdoch is onto him. This Gideon is going to take a good path out. And
Misses.
He's going to get silenced. He's going to use the stasis.
He's not even going to be able to get back in.
It's bad for him.
That's going to be 5th Fangtooth out of here, and we were just talking about it. I don't know. I guess. Oh!
A little bit of lane pressure. Try to get that tier 2, get a little bit of gold back in the pockets for
he can go inhib right now. He can go inhib right now.
Oh,
sir, you can see 2 on the map. The rest are at Fangtooth.
An enemy tower is under attack.
He's going to
try to go for the other tier 2 on the opposite side. I do respect it.
A lot of lane pressure.
Do respect it, and that's a big minion wave. We just saw the prime buff fall off right there, but that is an immense amount of damage. Taking 2 off the map. The Fae's kind of coming up to pressure. I'm going to go ahead and blink right out of there.
They do have Drongo and Steel coming up really soon to be able to defend those inhibs as Differential is crashing in over in the dual lane inhib right now.
See, this is what I was talking about, is they just went straight.
Oh, they're going straight in. Kamara's going to hit Drongo with that ult, and he's going to go back to the base for another minute or 2.
Let's just get a little breakdown recap of everything that transpired. We were talking about the buff. They went for the Fangtooth anyway instead of pushing the lead. They ended up losing the team fight because of the kill deficit. As they move forward, the Fang Mao could have pushed that prime buff instead of rotating into the inhib and most likely gotten it and traded right there. Hindsight is 20/20 when you're looking on the outside and you're a fly on the wall, but like that would have been the optimal play right there. Even after losing the trade, he probably could have gotten an inhib flop.
Absolutely, and trading those is huge. The
Pressure that taking an inhib is going to put on the enemy team is massive to slow them down.
Yeah, that Fang Mao does get caught with his pants down over
We're
there.
We're on big death timers right now. Also, 33 minutes in the game.
57 seconds on that death timer. I looked at.
Yeah, they're gonna flex push this right now.
Yeah, pressuring both of the waves. The Gideon is going to hit the big ult. We're going to see if it's enough to make a difference. Steel does hit 2 with the shield slam as well. But it looks like they are starting to just get pushed down.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is probably going to be the end of the game right now.
We're going to have a game 3 coming up.
Let's see if Kamara is able to get at this Drongo. He's going to ult out for safety.
All things considered, that was some smooth movement by the Drongo.
Oh, yeah, good escape there.
Not only did he hit every single shot, he got out. They're going to be taking down the 3rd inhib. That is going to be such a big...
And once again, with the all gas on the Kamara trying to come in, but ooh, that self-peel is going to come out, and they almost are able to take him down there.
It's going to be the end of game 2. This is why we do a 2 out of 3 series. We saw a completely different team in round 2 here at the Agora series.
Real excited for game 3. Love these close series. Cannot wait to see what is happening in team 3 to see how these teams adjust.
Yeah.
What a game we just saw. A complete swap of what happened in game 1. It is hard to believe.
Coming in halfway through a game is probably not.
Inhuman reaction.
So we will have to see how these teams adjust. Who stood out to you during that game? What were the big adjustments you saw that you think helped turn Team Differential into their favor there?
Man, I would probably have to say, I'm just reviewing the teams and the players. I want to say that the big difference that we saw was the Chimera and the Fae, and I want to give an MVP shout out to Grux from the last game. He put out so much pressure without ever overextending to the point that he was harassing he was a detriment to his team. He was always where he needed to be. He was always posture checking. He was never getting picked, and he was making picks himself. And I really think that he was a lot of the key components' success for Team Differential that game.
I also feel like you could see that he had gotten into their heads, because by that end of the game, when they finally did get that pick onto him, they spent pretty much everything to get him. They had Steel ulted him. They had Gideon ulted him. He was in their heads, and they wanted him bad when he shouldn't have been the focus of their team fights on that last one. That ended up costing them the game. Absolutely.
That was a really big turnaround, and now we have to see, now we're getting to the chessboard of the game, Tab came out swinging real hard, got game 1. We saw the 2 out of 3 difference. Team Differential absolutely swung it around, and in a very large fashion compared to the first game. That was a blowout game for them.
Absolutely.
So now Can they get into that third layer of the sandwich? You know, can Tab be like, okay, we did this, you did this, now we're going to do this, and we're going to flip-flop it again, because now they have pick advantage again.
Right, and speaking of that pick advantages, I'm glad you said that because I wanted to get into that. Another thing that I wanted to point out in these first 2 games, that team that got that first pick and chose that Steel lost. Steel is 0 for 2 right now, and it'll be interesting to see if they abandon maybe the most OP champion I've ever seen in a MOBA and go for a different strategy, because that is not working.
Honestly, regardless of the great champion, the thing is that the team synergy was so good, and I'm going to agree with J-Man63 in the chat, even though we're a little bit ahead of the time. The Drongo build is not bad by any means. I understand the thought process there with the Ashbringer and the Tainted Rounds, right? We know, and he even built a Mesmer for the Spell Shield. It makes sense to me, but he was kind of focused on, like, making sure that the enemy team doesn't heal and that he stays alive, rather than not hitting as hard as he probably could have with a full glass cannon build.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. I did see that I do kind of agree with the optimization of going into the Tainted Rounds with as much healing as was on or the other team there.
I got some other game updates right now that I'm going to get into real quick. Okay, so Vape Nation won their game 9-2, and then they won 43-9. Okay, 43-9 final on kills. Okay, so game 1, they had an 18-2 advantage, and game 2, they won 9-2. So Vape Nation had an absolute blowout for their first round.
All right, you guys. So it looks like from what I have seen, it is now 1-1 on this matchup here. Am I wrong or am I right?
Absolutely.
You are right, sir.
Cook, can I get you to take over for me for a minute?
Well, I think it's going to be important to pick good team fighting comps, not to hammer down that objective spot, but that is where these games are won and lost. And having the big team fights in order to be able to wipe that enemy team out before those fights start to happen is going to be very important. Being able to get that posturing, being able to get that ward control out onto the map so they know where the enemies are coming from. Ooh, and I know that we did not review the pick orders out loud here, but we are on Press Tab's side right now. I want to just point out that my boy Sevrog is in this map. He's going to be over there trying to pick those stacks up and become an absolute monster late game.
Yeah, this is a whole different ball game that we're looking at right now. They're keeping the Drongo, they're keeping the Steel, and I just don't know how I feel about that, considering that it hasn't been working out for them prior. I love seeing the Countess Sevrog pick, honestly. Like, it's really nice to see breath of fresh air.
3, 2, 1. Let the battle begin.
That was beautiful.
That was good. All right, so we're going to be getting into game 3 on round 1, Tab vs Differential. They had a bit of a mental blow there from that last game, ending at 10-31. So let's see how they kind of handle this whole thing and flip it around. Can the layers get deeper? Can the plot thicken? Can they pull it back?
Man, with such a close series going into this 1-1, and we have noticed multiple times we've brought this up that Fangtooth is such an important thing to have. And, you know, the real turning point in this game is who can secure that first one. Everybody loves to say that first Fangtooth is not as important. Oh, we got a gank coming through the jungle here. Richter gonna land the hook on the Drongo. Chimera jumping on him. They're gonna get the kill. He's gonna blink out. They're gonna blink on top of him. His steel's coming in to save with the stun.
Oh,
is he gonna be able to get out that Chimera? Does have his jump. The Grush also following up on this. Drongo is gonna be able to get out here.
What an escape.
Cheese. Absolute cheese.
Just to piggyback off you there, Cook, you cannot get your third Fangtooth until you get your first.
That too, but what I was saying basically is that although everyone loves to shout that first Fangtooth is important as people think, it really is. That sets the other team even further back going into late game where team fights are so much more crucial, and it puts you that much further ahead to getting the third, fourth, and fifth Fangtooth, which everyone knows are the most important things to have in this game.
Man, so we're going to be down blinks on the Drongo and the enemy Chimera, I believe. He blinked in to kind of follow that up and kind of finish it out. You got to watch out for these Richter hooks. It is clearly working for Team Differential. Even in the first game that they lost, they had the early lead between the Richter pulls. A little bit of posture checking right now. That Richter's creating absolute wonderful pressure, absolute wonderful zoning right now. Drunk away from getting his last hits in. Steel can't really do anything in this situation until he hits level 2, and he has the opportunity to flip on the other carry. That's a lot of mana for a last hit.
Yeah, it is. It just goes to show how powerful of a character Richter is, because he is not a ranged hero by any means, but man, he is so intimidating. When he raises that arm, it makes your butt cheeks pucker.
I know. Could we get like a cowboy lasso Richter skin?
That would be amazing. I would love to see Richter, whenever he pulls out his silence, he takes out a pair of cuffs and slaps them on you. For those of you who didn't know, Richter's lore is he is a jail warden.
I did not know that. That's pretty cool.
Steel is a space prisoner as well, so a little bit of an interaction. They're very cool to each other.
You know, you'd think with their designs, it's the opposite way around.
Steel very much does look like somebody who is in uniform, and Richter looks like a very outlawish type. But man, Richter is the king of law around here. That man said, I am the sheriff.
All right, not too much going on over here right now. A little bit, they're getting shoved in, but this is giving them a chance to get set up for a freeze right now. Got to keep that body moving. Richter is always on the prowl. Gonna miss that hook. They got 16 seconds to do something about it. It's a long cooldown in the beginning. That's a big wave of damage they don't want to take. Steel getting picked right there, and that's that big poke. We saw that passive. He did the left mouse button, the right mouse button, the left mouse button. Absolutely huge damage on such early levels. They're flopping to the gold buff already. Oh man, are we gonna be seeing a fight here breaking out so early? Drongo opting for the farm instead. Oh, that is such good pressure. They're completely surrendering up that gold buff right now. No worries at all.
We're going to tune in over to Epps here as Countess in middle lane. As he backs, I thought he was going to be going in for a gank on the dual lane. Turns out he's going to go ahead and get his cards. Rampage there as well. They are trying to set up something. Level 1 gank is not going to happen here, it seems like. Although it is very important, this Sevarog is doing his best to focus up on his stacks. That is such an important version or factored into playing Sevarog. Without his stacks, he is almost useless. Am I right or am I wrong in that? Somebody correct me. You can't!
No, you're absolutely correct. You got to get the stacks up. He needs to just like kind of hang back, play passive. Even farm going on in the off lane right now. He's kind of just leaving that green buff. I don't know how I feel about that. Let's see if Grux takes notice. Yeah, he's already flipping over to that green buff right now. Knows there's several there. Not sure how I feel about that entirely, but we'll see. Countess looking for what she does best, looking to roam into the off lane, or the duo lane here, and try to pick something up, looking for an early ward on the Fangtooth. Good stuff by her. The double ward, smart.
All right, so it looks like they're going to start pressuring for posturing for Fangtooth here, and this Countess is going to make sure her lane is pushed up, so that whenever the time comes, they can easily set up over there. It looks like the Sevarog, we're gonna go over here. Sevarog and Grux going at it. Sevarog's gonna back up though. He knows that Grux is not somebody that he wants to mess with this early on.
Yeah, Grux is such a lane bully early on to the game. You really got to respect him, because once that bleed starts stacking on you, it just becomes a real problem. And his built-in lifesteal is just, character's just a brawl. He's like the true definition of like a brawler. All right, so picking up some stacks right here. Nothing too fancy. The Grux is going in on him. Sevarog missing his AoE CC. Gonna dash right through him. Try to peel out of there. Grux peeling away, popping a pot. And resetting the lane, going in again. He's looking for those swings. Gets another great pull. Oh, I don't know if Grux is gonna come out on top of this right now. Oh, he actually lost this trade. Sevarog possibly gonna pick up the early 1-for-1. Oh, gonna get that blink. What a big turn by that Grux right there. Man, that guy is scary.
Countess is coming over to try to clean that Grux up. Let's see if she's able to find him on the silent buff. And she does get in another one of those stacks into her passive, getting more magical lifesteal right here.
Yeah,
able
really
to pick it up and clean up after that Sevarog. Wonderful roam.
Faye and Chimera look like they're coming to try to clean up and pick up a little bit more over here on the left side. Chimera gonna pick up the Rampage. Unfortunately, can't see what's going on, but I can see that Faye is healthier than the Countess. She's backing away right now. Faye is still thirsting. Chimera is still thirsting. That man's low too. Ooh. This is risky for all facets. Countess picking up another kill.
Oh, how did she turn that on that? Chimera, that's impressive.
Oh, she's going back in.
Oh, and she's going back in. She knows that the Sevarog's coming to help her.
That blood blink animation is so cool looking.
Absolutely. I think that Countess is one of the highest skill expression champions in the game. Being able to keep track of how long you have to blink back, all of that stuff, it is very important. She's not nearly as easy to play as a lot of people think that she is just slam your face down on those keyboard and collect those stacks.
No, not at all. She has huge outplay potential. Looks like they're going to be going for a gold buff right now. Doesn't look like there's any contestant coming out for the duo lane. We do have first Fangtooth up online.
Here comes Richter.
Out. Oh, you got to dodge that.
Oh, good by the steal there to block that pull.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. So they're just going to be resetting lane over here. Team Tab looking very strong on this start off. 4-1. Countess picking up 2 of those kills. That's going to be big for them as we kind of move into like these team fights and these snowballs. She's going to be popping in and just jumping on the squishies.
All right, just for you guys watching, I want to keep y'all updated as much as I can. It looks like we have a round 2. It's going to be Team Faded versus TOS. That is going to be such a hype game. We knew it was going to be like this. 2 of the best teams in the tournament are going to be going at it right after this. Stay tuned. Do not go anywhere. The most hype match in this game, other than the finals, is going on soon.
All right. So what we got going on is we're seeing a little bit of that warding for that Fangtooth. Looks like they're getting ready for it.
This is around the time that we've been seeing the first Fangs drop.
Absolutely. Ooh, they're behind the Murdoch.
Clean kill in the off lane. The Countess pressure to the off lane is huge right now. We're not seeing as much brawling as we did the first 2 games in the duo lane. We were seeing a lot of 3 and 4 mans early on for all that Fangtooth capture going on, but we're kind of just seeing Countess prey off the off lane right now. Faye roaming over to the duo lane, walking over a few wards. Looks like they're aware of it, going to shove this in and kind of flip.
Drongo did just hit 6 as well, so that ult is online. We do not have the steal ult yet for this fight that's coming up. We'll see if that makes a big difference for them with the Drongo being 6 and the steal not quite getting it.
We got a fight breaking out. This is not looking safe. Needs to get out of there. All right, smart man, backing on up.
It looks like they are going to concede potentially that first Fang over to Team Differential here. It does look like Countess is having a little bit of a dance with this Grux over here, just trying to clear those waves, get that lane priority so they can keep their attention towards this first Fangtooth that they're looking to get for the game.
Countess has been super on top of taking every single chance out of back that she can get. We see her every time she's got 1,000 gold, she's basically gone back to get that power spike. Every little item right now is going to matter so much on her.
Oh, she's going Oathkeeper, and I like that a lot. So she went into the combustion first. That's going to have a lot of magical penetration for her. And then going into that Oathkeeper is going to give her a lot of consistent damage with that extra damage onto her auto attacks after using an ability. Very smart play. But
that's a really big dive by that
into the tower. Yeah. A little questionable there. I'm not sure what he was looking to take as an advantage there, but it does look like they were able to pick him up.
He might have gotten pulled, but it looked like he dashed in.
Good point, yeah. I forgot about the rip.
Yeah, it looked like he dashed in to secure a kill.
Still a little bit of an advantage over here for Press Tab, and they do have an absolute monster vampire in the middle lane for them. Ooh,
oh, they're looking for that.
They've started that first Fangtooth here. This Countess is a little out of position. It's 1v3 here for her.
Absolutely great pull by the Richter, saving out that Faye. Countess backing off, already wasted her big plays, getting collapsed on by the Grux. She's doing her best to get out of there. Dodges the knock-up, gonna get pulled back though. Yep, absolutely.
Good synergy by the Sevrog there, and we're over onto the Fangtooth to see who's gonna be able to secure this. It's coming out, it's down in Smite Rage. Does anybody have the hunt?
Yeah, that's a great jungle pick.
Absolutely.
Right there, and they did secure it. They got the jungle pick, they got the smite. That's a really big clean and turn for them. They threw too many resources at the Countess right there in the mid lane.
Absolutely, and that is a huge swing here coming in. 3 kills and the first Fang getting those river buffs to last longer. Really a huge advantage over here for Press Tab in this game 3, the deciding game of the first round for these teams.
100%. And seeing these teams put so much resources into Countess, it almost seems not worth it. Countess's survivability, she is such a high damage output hero, but she can also be so tanky. Not to mention, stack that on top of her regen, it is almost impossible to kill her.
Absolutely. I'm still a big believer in Lifebinder Countess. I'm all about that extra magical lifesteal if you can get it once you get those 10 passive stacks up as well. And she is halfway there already at 5 stacks. She only needs to get to 10 before she is an absolute menace in team fights. Halfway there already with the 3 assists and the 2 kills. absolutely pressuring. Also hits that level 9, which is very important to get that last point into her E. Really going to be dishing damage out with that pool.
All right, Sevarog just kind of chilling right now, trying to get his stacks as the Grok's going to be looking for a brawl again. I think he would respect a little bit more at the Countess rums that are going on, missing that AoE stun, getting pulled in, dashing out, getting that quick little reset. Sevarog is so safe if played correctly.
Absolutely. He really needs these next 2 stacks, though, to hit 30 and get that first big spike on those stacks. There he is. He's going to be able to clean that up. That's 50 extra damage on Siphon. That's 50 extra health. Very, very big for him.
I really love the kind of like whole theme that they have going on for Sevarog as he pulls up more stacks, and those shoulders just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Man, I love his design.
In the mid lane, Countess slipping away again, even though she's so
low. He's gonna shot Russian. Is he gonna get the subjugate?
Yeah, he's gonna get it, and he's gonna get the Siphon.
Oh, very big on him there, moving to 2-1-1 on the Sevarog. The later the game goes, the scarier the Grim Reaper becomes.
I was like excited for the Sevarog pick because I don't feel like when you think of like high level predecessor tournament gameplay, you're like, yes, Sevarog, because you know he's a stacking champion. He just wants to get his siphons and scale into the late game. But this man's really playing him like he's an early game champion.
Absolutely, he is, and I think that's one of the great things about our no mirror matches that we are doing. People are gonna have to fall down and find those unique counter picks. Those unique, harder to play champions that we're not going to see as much, that we're going to be able to highlight on the main stages here.
Yeah, no green buff kind of up right now. Going to choose a great chance to back. She's looking for the check. She's going to try to steal this attack speed buff real quick.
They're giving the attack speed buff over to the Countess. Good decision. Get that mana regen on her. Get her clearing these waves with that combustion. She's really knocking the waves out, being able to pressure this lane hard.
Yeah, she's farming so good. Also, I believe she's on 0 deaths right now also. She keeps just slipping away. She's looking for a roam on the Chimera. I'm not sure if the Chimera notices. Definitely does. The Murdoch's flipping over as well. Going to back away. Smart call by her. Just keep that small lead. Get those picks when you can.
Absolutely. Ooh, and we got a little bit of action going on over here with the Sevarog. It looks like they're going to
go for an early mini prime.
Very, very good play by them. That's going to really help them push these lane advantages.
This is so early, they can probably get a second one.
Absolutely, they can. It looks like they can. And with these 2 chunky boys that they have hitting this, they are not going to take a whole lot of damage. They're going to be able to push right back in the lane.
They're going to give it to the Sevarog.
Oh, they gave it to the Rampage.
I think the Rampage is definitely a better pick to give it to him there. He does so much damage, and he's so good all around. Versus the Sevarog still has a little bit of ways to go before he is a true contender in the fight. Looks like we got Countess going on something in mid here. Going against the Chimera is going to back off a little bit. The team collapses, though. Uses his blade. Grux is out of there.
Maybe a little bit over commitment there on the R. Kind of blew that really early, but I think that they felt pretty secure in what was going on right there. It was a nice 2v3. Probably could have gotten a little bit more out of that, but you know, people get slipped away from time to time.
And you know, Countess's ult as a mage isn't as long of a cooldown as everybody else's. She has a very quick cooldown. At level 1 ult, she's still only at, 95 or 100 seconds? So just over a minute and a half, and she does an insane amount of damage.
Just a quick blink over to the green buff. I like it.
You know, hitting that OP 300% damage to minions, making sure she's going to one-shot that river buff. And we do still have that 8-kill advantage over here on press tab that we are watching now. Sevarog is going to be able to get another stack onto that Scion buff, continuing to press that advantage, getting close to that Tainted Guard.
We're kind of seeing a same pattern between all 3 games. Game 1, they lost, they swapped their picks. Game 2, Differential swapped their picks and it worked out for them and they won. Now we're in game 3 and they've stayed with the comp that worked for them in round 2 like Tab did in round 2, and now Tab is adjusted accordingly and it's really like working out. And this is why best 2 out of 3 series are so good. This is the adaptation that you're looking for. This is like what separates the boys from the men.
I don't know about you guys. I'd like to see a lot more aggression from the dual lane on press tab here.
The dual lane in this whole series has kind of been, I don't want to use the word lackluster. They've been playing very safe because after game 1, Drongo got pulled 3 or 4 times by the Richter pre-10 minutes and still came out on top. But I think that they're just respecting the other duo lane a lot and just kind of playing a farm and team rotation based strategy.
One of the great things I'm seeing about this dual lane is they realize that they are on a team and the rest of their teammates are very fed and strong. They know that they can keep that Drongo safe, get him to the late game where he is an absolute monster, and work their advantages around this Countess and the Sevarog that they have right now.
This is looking really good. We got a big team fight busting out right here. Several going to be peeling out. Ooh, good peel. Another
Here comes Drago.
Drago looking a little late to this fight. I don't know if he's going to be able to pick up anything after this.
The Countess is already down 1. Is anybody else going to fall? Oh, 2 go down.
They're going to collapse here. It seems like these team fights are definitely swaying in the direction of press tab here. Looks like after getting those 3 picks with short timers, they need to immediately hop onto Fangtooth, which it seems they are going to do. With such short timers, it is a very dangerous thing to wait too long to hop on Fangtooth.
Very smart rotation by the team as a whole there.
Now, this is okay. This is a smart Fangtooth right here. They're all still relatively healthy. They have 4 players over here on the board right now. Countess swapping over to the offlane, pick up some extra farm, and every game we've kind of seen a different player shine in each round on both teams, and right now their Countess is like really dealing the damage. I'd be horrified to play against her if I was a squishy right now.
Absolutely. I think it was an interesting decision not to see any of them move over to that tier 1 in mid while after taking that second Fangtooth, or while somebody was on it even. Taking that turret there really opens that map up and will allow them to spread this advantage they have around the map. We'll see when they decide to make that move and group up in mid to take that. Just going to pick up another gold buff onto the Drongo here before he bases and finishes those tainted rounds.
The Drongo is... We've seen the Drongo pick 3 times, and everybody expresses to me, and I'm not here to disregard the opinion, but everybody on these teams I have talked to have statically said Drongo is the best carry in the game. But in these last 3 games I haven't seen enough to really sway my opinion to feel like that. I don't feel like I've seen enough, and we're seeing him rush tainted rounds again. The second game in a row.
Is that really the right player
call?
On the safer side here? I do think that is the right call into the Chimera and into the Grux. They've got so much healing, it is very hard to get picks onto that Chimera without a little bit of anti-heal. However, prioritizing the damage may have been pretty important. I do see that he also went with the cleanse.
The idea right now is because they're not fed. It's 13-2. I don't think you need shutting down that healing as much as it would be if like you were on the other team and the Countess is ahead right now.
Absolutely. I think I actually agree with you now that you point that out, that they do have that advantage. I would probably be pressing down on that gas pedal from that ADC position.
Yeah, your Countess is going to be dishing so much damage right now that as the ADC, you just need to be there, stay alive in your fight, and get your last hit and kind of keep that power spike going. I don't think it's as detrimentally as important as he thinks it is right now. This Countess is really being oppressive. Look how quick she is, just walking in a lane, clearing it, moving into the river, dropping a ward. She's almost never in lane. She's never even looking for a 1v1 with the Fae. She's just always looking for the opportunity.
You cannot say that F does not know what he is doing on Countess. He's a Countess main, and he has played this character so much. He knows her ins, he knows her outs, and he has for sure mastered the skill of the assassin.
Absolutely. Another thing that's just incredibly impressive on this gameplay, like my college E was saying, he's hardly spending any time in this lane, but look at the position of those 2 towers. They've hardly touched the tier 1 of press tabs.
They're overextending right now. They're looking for a big fight. Several going in on the Murdoch, gonna hit him with the Siphon, gonna miss the AoE stun, gonna get ulted by Richter.
Energy there. Oh, the steal
that's a really good reflect.
They're gonna be able to pick up the ADC.
No problem.
Goes down.
That's all right. That fight's basically over anyway, so it doesn't even matter. And that's going to be a clean pick for them. That's going to be tier 1 mid.
Absolutely. That's going to open the map up so much for them. Huge team fight there, taking 2 for 0. Looks like the Drongo is in a little bit of trouble. That Chimera is going to dive forward towards him, but he realizes he does not quite have what it takes to get that Drongo. Drongo is one of the safer carry picks right now. He's got a lot of self-cleanse with his silence, with his boomerang, and with his ult. Running the cleanse as well, he's going to be hard to pin down.
One thing I see a lot of Drongo players, correct me if I'm wrong here, chat, but I feel like Drongo players are not using his ult in the most effective way. As you saw, he used it to bounce himself closer to his tower, which at the same time, yes, he did get out alive, but it is just like Murdoch's shotgun. If he uses it on the enemy hero, not only does it push them back, but it also launches him the other way, creating more distance between them.
One of my big issues with Drongo is the use of his ultimate. I just don't think it's as powerful as Sparrow's or Murdoch's. It's more of a get-off-me tool.
Absolutely.
And less of an execute. And it seems like it's geared towards being both while not doing the execute job really as much. And that defeats the whole purpose of the ADC. Why should you have to get in point-blank range to execute someone anyway?
Absolutely.
You don't want to be right there. I would have liked to have seen a rework. I followed Paragon after it got shut down. Buddy told me about the game. I was like, wow, this game looks so cool. Why didn't it take off? And then I started die-heartedly following Predecessor for years in its development. And I'm just really happy to be here and be excited. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit of rework on that ultimate. Maybe like a giant rocket that travels in a linear line or something. You can still keep that bazooka, just maybe not make it the way it is right now. I think that would help this character a lot and make him more interesting, at least from my perspective.
Speaking of ideas on how to rework his ultimate, what do you guys think about possibly getting some kind of ultimate where, like you said, it's like an RPG style ability, but how about like a honing rocket? That would sound amazing.
Like Howitzer's
maybe more like Howitzer's missile, but a big rocket that travels faster.
You know what? I don't like when you pointed out, but that's the reason I love you, okay?
Sorry. I'm pretty sure you
it's all right.
Howitzers.
Oh, we got
a fight breaking out.
This tooth.
Richter with a good double ult right here. I don't know how I feel about them taking this fight right now. The enemy Tab team is so ahead right now. Great reflect.
The Countess is in a great position here.
Look at that little pick.
Home run.
Back over.
Absolutely destroying the team as Countess. He's going in. He says, give me the triple kill coming in. Triple kill, baby.
Triple
There's
kill.
a difference, man. The 20-4, I don't like that fight. I really think that they really just needed to turtle up and play safe, putting a little bit too much emphasis on stopping that third Fangtooth. I think that they thought it was safe with the 4v3 right there, but we've seen it all game. The Countess isn't mid lane. If you don't see that Countess mid lane, assume she's looking at you.
Behind you. Look out.
Yeah.
She's coming.
Look, she's 7-1 right now, and she's at full stack. She's at all 10 right now. She is very threatening.
She's going to be very, very hard to get caught as well.
This
Going
is
for
kind
the
of
very early prime. It's going to take them a lot to whittle this down with the amount of damage they have on their team. But at 20 kills, there's a lot of gold for them here to do it.
they're going to be able to do this in time. Absolutely.
You got to be careful. For those of you who don't know, those little missiles that come out of Orb Prime do 60% of your health. Now, that is divided between everybody taking it. So if you only have 2 people taking it, both of y'all better be above 30% health or else you're dead.
You can also
block those with steel wall, if anybody did not know. You just have to stand on the opposite side of it. That steel got poked out by the Orb Prime and had to leave there, but could have blocked a lot of that damage for the team.
Great knowledge coming out right now from my other commentators. Really good stuff to know. Didn't know either of those facts. Thank you.
This is an educational stream as well as an entertaining one.
All right. Just farming up the jungle a little bit. Love when I see ADCs do this. Lane not safe, farm the jungle. It's all right. It'll respawn.
You just heard that from a jungler. It's okay, ADCs. Take the farm.
Yeah, it's okay. You will get large. That will respawn.
Sevarog now on his 3rd tier of his soul stacks at 69. Ha ha ha. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
First 420 and a 69 on the same screen. It's a good stream, boys.
Oh,
we
yes,
got going
indeed.
on here. Oh, yeah. We are in Giga Chad caster mode as we speak.
Especially with those shoulder pads.
Sevarog
boy.
said, NFL, call me up. I am ready.
Can I bring the hammer?
Could you imagine
Honestly,
if there was
gold
hammers
buff
in
up.
the NFL with all the injuries going on nowadays too? That would be devastating.
This player is really inspiring me on the Sevarog right now. I really very rarely see this level of like Sevarog play. A lot of players just passively farm too much, but he has had so much map and rotation pressure between the early Orb Prime, the mini Prime, between making his plays in mid lane so Countess can get more kills, and he's never overextended really, besides I think that one fight that we saw in the bot lane that we were just like, oh, why did he do that? But I'm just seeing such great knowledge coming out from Tab right now. It's
Looks like we got Countess going in on somebody over in the off lane. He's gonna use stasis in lane. He's gonna secure the kill. Countess is such an overpowered hero. You cannot take her lightly. They're gonna be pushing up in mid here, taking a tier 2. Got 2 tier 2s falling down at the same time. Looks like
they were
Tab is going to be
wrap
pressing
up on the game coming up here. They've really got to hold and get a pick together. They got the Richter. Even if you got to pull a tank into you right now under tower, just do something to kind of get any advantage in your favor in the swing. Oh, they're looking for a dive right now over in the left lane on the tower. Is it going to be enough? Oh,
Drago's going to ult up to be able to get in position for the fight.
Interesting ult choice right there. Oh, he's beaming down this Murdoch.
Absolutely, that damage is really coming out. Flashes aggressively. Gonna just chase him back into the tower for a second as they take the left inhibitor.
regardless if the Severa got that kill in the Grux in the duo lane right there, he was just doing exactly what he needed by not letting him get back so that they can secure this game. That's going to be the end of round 1 on stream for Tab, finishing it up 24-4. And that's pretty much as big as a deficit as we saw in the last game with Team Differential. So hats off to Team Differential. You guys really brought it back in that game 2, and they brought it back in game 3. Thank you for your participation, and it's been wonderful having you guys on and talking.
What a series.
Absolutely.
Love seeing the 3 games in the first one to kick the day off, really set that attitude that this is a very competitive and even skilled tournament for these people here.
For sure. That was an absolute hellfest. Absolutely good fighting on both teams. You know, they were going back and forth for a while, but it just goes to show once one team gets rolling in this game, it is hard to stop. It's like a 40-ton boulder going down a rock, mountain, let's say, not a rock, a 40-ton. I'm going to continue on. But it is unstoppable. It's like an immovable object versus an unstoppable force, except those both are on the same team fighting with each other. And that turned out to be Press Tab. Moving on to the next round here.